Hey everyone, this is Tell the Truth Sports Radio. Are you ready for some football? This is the divisional round. I'm excited about that. Let's go. I'm going to go right into it. We got four big games. Um, I believe three will be competitive. I don't think the other one will be competitive. Let me get you the first two, which I know will be pretty competitive, is Green Bay versus the Rams. On paper, if you look at this, oh man, Aaron Rodgers at home and the Rams coming in cold. Nah, this is going to be a beatdown. But provided Aaron Donald is healthy, you got Leonard Floyd and all those really, really talented corners they got. Because you talk about Jalen Ramsey, it's going to be Jalen Ramsey versus Devontae Adams. I love that's usually the biggest matchup. But you got Darius Williams, who had the pick six last week, who's really is good, and Troy Hill. And you got those dudes, and you're going to need them against Devontae Adams and all the guys they got. And Tanyan at tight end. Can the Rams stop? If we look at defense and offense, Aaron Rodgers versus the Rams. The Rams, I should have known this, but I did not know they were the number one defense in the NFL. They're really good. Really, really good. Jalen Ramsey takes everybody out of the game. This is going to be a little bit more problematic because Devontae Adams is not only a good route runner, they put him in the slot, they put him at running back, they put him on sideline routes, they put him in motion. So it's a more of a difficult task. But you got Scanlon who's good, and then Aaron Jones running, because Rams didn't do a good job. They've been good all year, but they didn't do a good job stopping the run last week. If the Green Bay Packers are going to run, the Rams are going to get beat. That's not going to be the competitive game I think it's going to be. But if the Rams play like the number one defensive team in the NFL, it's going to be competitive. This is a problem for the Rams, though. And the Rams also one of the top defenses in the NFL at the passer rating. So your passer rating is not going to be good if you have a good one, but Aaron Rodgers is number one. So something's got to give there. On defense, Green Bay's defense has gotten beat up and got pushed around every time Green Bay's been in the playoffs. So this defense has got a lot to prove. It's not about the individual defenders that Green Bay's got some nice pieces, but this is about solving McVay's scheme. McVay's scheme is play action, and Cam Akers got to be able to get positive yards to set up Goff, and Goff has got to be somewhat healthy to get the ball down the field in the cold to Cooper Kupp and Woods and Higbee and all those guys, but it's predicated off the play action and the believability that the play action brings. That's the key. If you run the ball, then when you play action, that defense is going to be sucked in. Now he rolls out, which they do very well. And then the receivers are disciplined. They run those disciplined rollout routes. And then the Rams get rolling. But I don't think neither. I think both defenses are going to show up. And Green Bay wins 20-14. Now, that's a real gamble with both really good offenses. But I think Green Bay's defense is going to look to something to prove after all those embarrassing performances, especially last year when they just got punked. And I had lost respect for Green Bay. I got some of it back. I need to see what their defense is going to do this week before I get full respect. Now, this is really probably the best game. Ravens and Bills. A lot of people pick the Ravens. A lot of people pick the Bills. How do you deal with the running machine of the Ravens or the running pass option type of running that the Bills do? They don't have a good running game except for Allen. Now, the Ravens, Lamar Jackson's their leading runner, but, the Ravens are more dynamic with their running game. The biggest matchup of the entire game is Stephon Diggs versus Humphreys. And if Marcus Peters, if they get caught on a switch or Peters has to cover Diggs, can the Bills take care of Marcus Peterson he gambles too much at times. He's a good corner, but he likes to gamble. Can they hit him with a couple of up and unders, up and over type of routes where Stephon Diggs fakes the slant and goes deep. Or the out and up. I'm sorry, out and up routes where they fake the short route. He pump fakes and it goes deep, and Humphries bites, and then you get 7 out of that. That's going to be interesting. But Peters, Humphries and Diggs just man for man is going to be, and it's a third down, and you're manning Humphries, and Humphries can man up everything. He's one of the best corners in the league. Humphries on that island versus Stephon Diggs. There you go. There's your key matchup. If Diggs wins, they move the chains. If Humphrey wins, they get off the field, and that's going to be big. Both teams like time-consuming drives. Cole Beasley's going to be big. Can Cole Beasley beat Humphries? Is Gabriel Davis has become a factor now for the Bills, but they don't run it, and they're not as good in the red zone because you don't have that power back. The Ravens are almost impossible stopping the red zone. The Bills have trouble, but the Bills are so explosive physically, and Allen's a physical runner. Lamar Jackson just fly past you. Allen's a physical runner. So now if they get to the 10-yard line inside the red zone, Allen can power his way into the end zone and be able to take the punishment as a quarterback. So the Bills have that. But that's what needs to be answered. That when you watch this game, listen to my analogy of Humphries and Diggs. Sit and watch that game within a game, and that's going to tell you. It's going to tell you who is going to win the game. But now, this is the key, and this is why I'm going to pick the Baltimore Ravens to win this game. I can't. Buffalo is not great at stopping the run. Not good. Baltimore can run the ball. Baltimore could be down. I would say 14 and under, and they'll be able to still run the ball. If anything over that, Baltimore will struggle because they're not the super dynamic passing game, but they never get behind 14. Lamar Jackson, you saw that run he had last week, the 40-yard touchdown run. You could stop him. But if you saw the play where Gus Edwards was the lead blocker because everybody had a man. It was man on man, and Gus Edwards was the lead blocker. So the free guy that's normally there for the tackles getting blocked by Gus Edwards. So now that frees Lamar Jackson to fly past the inside the B gap to go flying down the sideline. Now you got to hope your safeties can catch him. And Lamar Jackson has track speed. That's a problem. If he gets past, if he's running 10 yards past the line of scrimmage, you are in trouble. It's an opportunity. He might take it to the house. That's always got to be in the back of your head. That's a fear factor. And yeah, he's still developing, throwing the ball, but he didn't make terrible mistakes like he did years past. He made one bad mistake. He shook that off. Marquise Brown is catching the ball, and Andrews is the man at tight end. And you might even see Dez Bryant get a couple of passes. But the thing is with Baltimore, say, for instance, Humphries does a job on Diggs, you got to punt the ball. Now you're talking about 7-8 minute drives with Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins, and they're two physical runners. And Jackson's a speed runner, and they play a physical game. So you get beat up physically, but you also got to be scared of Lamar Jackson running. So it's a lot that the Bills have to deal with. But the Ravens have a lot to deal with the Bills. So I got the Ravens winning 27-24. Tucker, one of the best kickers who ever played a game of football, will make a kick at the end and unfortunately break the hearts of the Bills fans. Now, of course, the Bills could win that game. I trust the Ravens more. I saw things out of the Bills I didn't like against the Colts. They were vulnerable. And had the Colts ran a real good 2-minute drill, they could have won that game. That was the dumbest one. It was a minute and change drill to try to win a game. That was the stupidest drive I've ever saw. And the Ravens are not going to do that. You're not going to get stupidity out of that. Speaking of what you're not going to get, Cleveland and Kansas City, what's going to happen is you're not going to get Mahomes to have the ball hiked over his head and then throw a stupid interception to get up 14-0 real fast. That's not going to happen like it did last week for Cleveland. This is the game I believe is going to be a blowout. I'm going to tell you something about the Kansas City Chiefs. They've been disrespected because they say, okay, Cleveland's the team that could beat them. Baltimore and Lamar Jackson's the team that could beat them. Oh, who's the team that could beat Kansas City? I believe Buffalo will beat Kansas City. So Kansas City with the week off, they're hearing all this. And they got that championship medal. Out of all the teams in AFC, none of these teams have championships except Kansas City out of who's left. They're listening to that. They're motivated. They're rested. So now you got a rested team. I think Hilaire's going to play. So you got a little running game to go with what Mahomes can do. And I like Kelsey, Hill, and a little bit of Le'Veon Bell. And it's ridiculously disgustingly bad as the Steelers play. They put up 38 points, and I think that Kansas City is going to be able to do more. I don't think Cleveland has nothing else to play for it because they won their – I will give you a history lesson. Teams that have that overly emotional win the week before in a playoff game, when they come back the following week to go back on the road again, they usually do not. Sometimes they do, but they usually do not have that performance, that peak performance like they had the week before. Case in point in college football, Ohio State. They went after Clemson. They were sick and tired of hearing Clemson. Clemson ran their mouth about what they were going to do, and all this Ohio State ain't that good, just like Juju ran his mouth against Cleveland, and they were super motivated. And they wanted to finally get that steal a monkey off the back, and they did, and they were so emotional, so joyful and great. Now you got to turn around and go to Kansas City against a team that's on a holy mission to win a Super Bowl. You're at the wrong place at the wrong time. Now, physically, talent-wise, could Cleveland play with Kansas City and beat Kansas City? Yes. So if you see something different than what I said, I'm putting that disclaimer out there. I just don't think that Browns have the fire. They're not going to have the fire and the emotion that Kansas City is going to bring. And I don't think they're going to be able to stop. From what I saw last week, they're not going to be able to stop Mahomes. You're not going to get that 14-21. I don't think. You're not going to get a 28-21 nothing lead where everything goes haywire. Not this. Kansas City's a real disciplined football team, not an undisciplined mess of a team that was worn out like you played last week. This is a real contender you're going up against, not a pretender like last week. And I just think that Kansas City's going to take care of business. And Cleveland, they say, listen, we got this far. We're happy. We've accomplished the playoffs and a win. So I think we're good to go. But Kansas City's not good to go. Kansas City's on a mission to repeat. They're trying to create a legacy of winning championships. Speaking of legacy, you got Breeze and of course Brady. I'm gonna tell you what this is about. New Orleans blew out Tampa twice. They're not blowing out Tampa this week, but the pass rush is going to be the key. If that pass rush can continue, and Bruce Arians and Brady cannot find a rhythm and a solution to that, that's going to be a problem. I think they kind of do. I think you might see shorter passes because Washington got after Brady. Brady made some plays, but Washington didn't have the talent and the savvy that the New Orleans has with Malcolm Jenkins and Lattimore and those guys in the secondary. Everybody talks about Brown and Gronkowski and Evans. Yeah, they're probably gonna get theirs. You know, those are stars. The guy you gotta watch for is Goodwin. Goodwin is a guy that Brady likes to go for on 3rd and 6, 3rd and 10. Brady loves to go to Goodwin. That's the guy that the Saints better pay attention to, or you're going to get beat. And then Fournette running is going to help. If Fournette could run in New Orleans, I don't know how many fans they're going to have, but if they have 10,000 fans, New Orleans fans are loud, even with 10,000. That's going to be interesting. Fournette's running is big. If he could run between the tackles, get 4 here, 5 there, you're on schedule. It's not 3rd and 13. Because if it is that pass rush, then maybe they might dial up a blitz or two. That's going to be – Brady can't move as much, and that's going to be a problem. Now, on offense, I'm not impressed with Tampa Bay's defense versus New Orleans offense. Tampa Bay's defense was solid against Green Bay. They have you got the guys, and David's coming back, so that's going to help in linebacking. But You got Thomas, who's going to be there. This is the first real. Last week they were a little off their game because everybody was back, but this is going to be the week I think Kamara and Thomas and Cook and Taysom Hill kind of put it together. I think both teams are going to be able to score points. The key, I think, if you see this guy be the hero and the reason the Saints win, is going to be Emmanuel Sanders. That's the guy. Emmanuel Sanders got a championship ring. Emmanuel Sanders has been waiting to get back in the spotlight. I just got this feeling about Emmanuel Sanders in this game. Who stops who? Both defenses are going to be taxed. They're going to be under severe pressure with Brady and Breeze coming at you. But it's about that. But who has the ball at the end of the game? Does Breeze score too early and then Brady has the ball? If that's the case, Tampa will win. Does Brady score and he's like, I left a minute and change for Breeze, and Breeze comes down and they score and they win? Who has the ball left? This is a pick 'em because it's going to be a close game. Forget what happened in the regular season. I'm going with Drew Brees. They're on a mission to get to the Super Bowl. It's going to be a little hard because I got Green Bay on the other side. It's going to be a little hard to walk into the Lambeau Field and do that. But I got Drew Brees 31-30. Brees is going to be the guy with the ball at the end of the game with a chance to win. Okay, let me talk about the James Harden trade where the Nets lost Jared Allen, and they got James Harden. Basically, the basic gist of it is James Harden and the Nets I really want to deal with because I know Houston got draft picks and Oladipo and Cleveland got Jared Allen. But I want to focus on the good and the bad. I'll deal with the bad first. Of course, them getting along, chemistry issues. They're all ball dominant. So you're wondering who gets the ball in the fourth quarter. They all can. Harden is clutch in the regular season, so he likes the ball at the end of the games of regular season. Durant is clutch anytime, and Kyrie is clutch in the postseason too. So he has some moments where he's been clutch, and Durant is clutch mostly all anytime. Preseason don't matter. The problem, of course, everybody talked ad nauseum is Kyrie Irving because of the fact that, and I just saw this today. I understand. I saw the partying video with no mask and all that, and he violated protocol. I got fined heavily. The Zoom meeting dealing with a political guy he wanted to back during the game it's insidious. And I've been very reluctant to criticize Kyrie because I've known him since the 11th grade when I covered high school basketball at St. Pat's. And I still know his people and his high school coach, so I'm really reluctant to. But that was bad. That was bad. I don't know what he's dealing with, but he just has to be. The one thing I think Kyrie struggles with is turning around saying, listen, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. He is not that kind of guy. That compounds mistakes. When you are that person that's just unapologetic and never does, even if you're dead wrong, that's a problem. And that's kind of the reason why he's had issues with LeBron. It's kind of issues with the Celtics. And I root for this guy. I want to see this guy succeed because I'm a fan of this guy. But my show is Tell the Truth Sports Radio, so I have to sit back and tell the truth, even if it's something I don't even like talking about, and that's being critical of Kyrie. But I have to be because I got concerns now with James Harden, not on the court, because that could actually work. I'm going to explain how this could work. But the other stuff, the inner workings that's inside Kyrie's head, and never wanting to apologize, and never wanting to, he could have talked to management and his teammates. It just, and this different quotes he made, he's got to be careful. The biggest problem that no one's talked about is when he does come back, Think about this now. How does he deal with the media's questions? Because I can see the reporters like, Kyrie, where did you go? And do you think it was right what you did to your teammates? Because the New York media will do that. Or they'll be like, can you play with James Harden? Is there going to be an issue? Are you going to be okay when you don't get the ball in the fourth quarter? They're going to ask questions like that. And he already looks at the media's pawns. So it's going to be some type of confrontation that's a distraction. That's the issue I worry about, is what comes out of his mouth. If he just says, listen, I'm going through something, I'm going to deal with my teammates, I'm going to put forth the best effort and just make this thing work and leave it at that, he might be all right. I don't think he's capable of doing that. It's still manly. It's okay to apologize. I've seen LeBron do it. I've seen KD do it. I've seen every great star, even Michael Jordan, was not afraid to apologize if they're wrong. Kyrie's not that guy. It's not in him to ever apologize. Just do it, right or wrong, my truth and what I believe in. More, it's just conditions, and it's just my conditions, and that doesn't work in a team sport. But like I said, I'm rooting for the guy. So it's just tough to talk about and be hard on, but this is the truth. We gotta sometimes have these difficult conversations. Now, this is the good. I don't think this is as bad as people say, oh, ball dominant. Stars figure things out. They just naturally, organically figure things out with Durant and Harden and Kyrie. And Durant and Harden are very willing and good passers. They're playmakers. Kyrie can be, he's not quite, but he's the point guard. If he could take some of the shooting and some of the driving one-on-one toward the end and be a little more of a driver passer and implement that to go along with what he does. This is the greatest one-on-one player, one of the greatest of all time, to go along with the gracefulness and greatness of what Durant does. And Harden, and with his weight, I don't worry about that, because Harden's he's going to be very motivated now. He's going to work hard to get in shape. I think he'll be in shape in a month. This is where he wanted to be. He wanted to be with Durant. This is what they discussed. So they're all together. And I think Kyrie, and this is the thing, I think Kyrie already knew that they wanted to do this. So this is something that might have been planned by all three of them. So I don't think there'll be some problem. There'll be some chemistry issue just until they figure it out. I think in a month's time, if they all play and Kyrie just comes back and plays, they could be fine, because it's going to be hard to guard. And another thing, I think the key, and I mentioned James Harden coming. They said, oh, man, he's the scoring champ. How does that work with Durant and Kyrie? I'm going to give you guys a history lesson. There was a guy a long time ago named Bob McAdoo. He was a scoring champ for the Buffalo Braves, and he had issues with the Knicks. He had issue with the Celtics. Toward around this time with James Harden, and this was his time, his age, he goes to LA. Wait a minute, you got Magic and Kareem, and then Worthy was about to come. How does that work? And McAdoo came in there, was the X factor, because he humbled himself, decided to come off the bench as a backup center, got his points in, but did other stuff like big blocks and rebounds and ran the floor and enjoyed the winning culture and was implemented in the winning culture. And that's the job that Steve Nash has. And I think Steve Nash has the perfect temperament. He's a type of guy. He's not a fire and brimstone. He's just a type of X's and O's. And then D'Antoni's there with the offense, so he could be there kind of like a manager, kind of managing the Eagles, because he was a point guard and one of the greatest point guards that ever lived. So he could help Kyrie. Listen, I was a scorer, passer. Be a little more of a passer with the score. If Kyrie's a willing listener, this could work. But another key is defense. And Harden gets steals and rebounds. Kevin Durant is one of the best defensive players to ever live. Don't listen to the fake news stories. He can play defense. He guards anyone and if he gets a switch off the point guard to the forward to the center, he'll guard whoever. So forget all that nonsense. And Kyrie plays defense when he wants to. So if everyone buys into playing defense, and then DeAndre Jordan, because they don't have that Allen as a young shot blocker, he's got to be able to make shot blocks and be that guy that can catch lobs and stay healthy and play well. And he's a big guy. I think the Nets, they got 3 roster spots. They'll get another maybe Kenneth Faried type of shot blocking rebounder. I think they're not done creating their team and another shooter. The key for the Nets, another key is Joe Harris. Joe Harris, with all these guys driving and all the trouble teams going to have guarding, Joe Harris is going to be that dude that makes those shots, those 3-point. He's a 3-point sniper. But I'm going to give you another history lesson. The Detroit Bad Boy Pistons, it wasn't just defense. They had a ton of scores. Vinnie Johnson, Isaiah, McGuire, Lambert shot threes, Buda Edwards, James Edwards, turnaround jumper. Mahori could score when he was there. They had a bunch of scores, so everybody wants the ball, and Isaiah was the leader. He was a scorer, but what he did, he supplemented his game, become a passer. But the key was their coach was Chuck Daly. He said, listen, you guys want your minutes? Go play defense. You get your minutes. Steve Nash can't do that now, but if the Nets kind of have that core attitude of defense, they can at very least get to the finals, if not win it. I still have the Lakers as the favorites, but if you are a basketball fan and you want fun, you want excitement, you want the Nets and the Lakers. Right now, just from what I see, it could change. The best team in the East for what I see is the Sixers, not the Nets. But I got to see how this goes chemistry-wise. I could change my mind. But right now, I like the Sixers over the Bucks and the Nets. All right, before I go, I had produced a college football recap show, recapping the national championship. Technical difficulties. I had Chris Stanley. I was outstanding. I couldn't get it through. So I want to just pay tribute to Jalen Waddle. This is going to be my tribute to Jalen Waddle. Devontae Smith. Waddle's going to be a good player now. He was playing with a hurt ankle, but you better watch out. I'll draft him. Devontae Smith, Heisman Trophy winner. He had 12 receptions for 250 yards and 3 touchdowns. Superb game. Great person, great player. This is my tribute to him. I want to talk about Devonta Smith in particular. This guy had a great career at Alabama, 37 touchdowns, 3,350 yards receiving. He had a great year this year, Heisman Trophy winning year. In 11 games, he had 98 receptions for 1,500 yards, 137 yards per game, and averaging 15 yards per catch with 17 touchdowns. And he's a very quiet, humble guy that believes in just playing football. He's just a quiet type, humble, hungry football player, great route runner, got the speed. He's got every intangible you need, including heart and toughness. Now, he's humble, unlike a certain receiver that likes to run to the logo, wants to fire the other opponent up before games to get your team beat, your franchise embarrassed, running around acting stupid, wanting to dance, never winning nothing. Devontae Smith is not like that particular person I'm talking about, who plays on my team.